Alright, here we go. This is a custom 3v3 on Nesthorn between the red team, the upper left-hand corner, GIVATI, mrnoone1 in the Black Ops Helix, mechaunit21, the Tomcat Striker, and k1ng5hobie in the Apache Helix, and their opponents, the Carbon team, the bottom right-hand corner, Grizzly Wing, Broadside in the Envision Neo, CaliCowboy in the APB Striker, and Tangibility in the Classic Angel. I think the only non-classic skin that Tangi owns is probably the Raptor Neo, which was free at one point. This was a pretty much just a friendly faction-on-faction game. And I know mechaunit21 has not been that active recently, so he is kind of coming back to the game. I'm not really sure for how long, but you know, he's not. I don't know how caught up with the meta he is, although you know, I'm sure he's still a damn good player. We have a little bit of early harass by Broadside, going for moneymakers, while CaliCowboy and Tangibility doing a little bit of setup. Cali gonna bunker some creeps a little bit early, and Tangibility setting up some Jackal defense. In the meantime, we do have a lot of SAMs bunkered for the Carbon team on that close, so that's gonna be enough to fend off any you know, single-player drops. Maybe a two-player drop might be a little hard to fight off with just the SAMs, depending on what they bring. Mechaunit dropping some bear traps for harass, sort of harass. I don't know. It's just kind of to keep them throttled or something like that. Well, we do have bear traps on the other side, on the right side, which is the Carbon side of the middle outpost doors, which you know, will delay them if they are going to be trying to get it. But it doesn't look like no one's actually really pushing for mid that hard yet. mrnoone1 going down there, trying to do a quick scout, but getting double teamed by Tangi and Broadside. Goes down very quick. Focus fire, one of the really strong tools to utilize here in this game. And more scouting and harassment by Broadside, keeping pressure on the red forward. And lots of shooting back and forth. mechaunit very low on health. Broadside lands, and CaliCowboy getting that high-low, finishing him off. And k1ng5hobie able to make it out of there without getting killed. But Tangi already with his sniper. What has he been able to finish off? I'm not really sure, actually, but I know that he has had it. Let's see, abilities here. Yes, he does have level 1 snipe. And gonna do a quick scout here. Red team's already starting their mid fight. Has a lot of units on that left side of Nesthorn. One of the more typical ways to approach is just have with this big unit cluster here. Make sure you start ferrying stuff so they alternate taking damage. And you know, obviously a couple of healing units always helps that. But Tangi does spot it. Let's see if he's able to snipe anything down. No, does have to retreat. And lots of dogfighting going down. mechaunit going down, and CaliCowboy avoiding fire, but against the Helix probably, yes, does go down to mrnoone1. But mrnoone1 real low on health. Let's see if he can make it back. Yes, he can make it back to his forward, and k1ng5hobie real low on health too. But look at all the red units that the you know, all the units that the red team has on their in their outpost, or next to that middle outpost anyway. And quick scouts going down by a lot of the Carbon team, but you know, the red team has a huge advantage. I mean, you know, they're way ahead in terms of the mid fight. The Carbon team really hasn't really put anything down. There's just a little bit here. Has Aegis. There are 2 Aegis down on the field because there are 2 Helix on the, or helices. I'm not exactly sure what the plural is there, but there's 2 of them on the red team. So I do believe actually that 2 players on the Carbon team have Aegis. Yes, it is CaliCowboy and Broadside that both have Aegis, so definitely going to be countering those Helix mechs. There, I don't have to pluralize it that way, but yes, will definitely play a part later in this game, if not almost immediately. As you know, one of the things you do as a Helix is spam rockets as much as you possibly can, pour in as much DPS as often as you possibly can. mrnoone1 going with a socket harassment. Broadside able to save it in time, but mechaunit here as well. So 2 mechs shooting at those moneymakers, able to finish one off before they are before any of them are saved. And mechaunit going for another one, does get that one as well. And mrnoone1 does go down to Tangibility and his snipe. But this middle outpost very well claimed by this red team. Sonya down, so any artillery that you know, that gets put up by the Carbon team is not really going to be that effective. And Tangi rebuilding moneymakers, very good presence of mind to do that. Definitely have to concentrate on that. If you notice that moneymakers are built, don't ignore, or are destroyed, do not ignore them. Do not ignore that they were destroyed. You really need to rebuild. All that credit income is definitely something that you need to be concerned about. As you see, the Aegis did start to go off there. It's already starting to play a part, as those Helix rockets are getting pretty much hard countered by those units there on that cliff, on that ledge. But we do have a Bertha out on the field for the Carbon team. And more harassment going down by mechaunit, but all 3 mechs are here in the area, so it does not look like he's really going to get that far. And it does look like, yes, he did get taken down. Tangi getting that finish, but KingsHobie able to finish off one of the Aegis, so that definitely helps with that, you know, the mid-fight that they are having, and, you know, I guess the mech units versus Helix fight, which is something that they probably should be concerned about. Broadside spotting a couple of Jackals there on that side, and able to finish them off. So now we do have kind of a normal, typical mid-fight. Nesthorn really infamous for this, as it's really impossible, really, for the most part, to approach via push, as the, you know, the lanes leading to each outpost from the mid or to the mid are just really long, easy to scout, easy to prepare for, and it takes forever to actually get them there. So it becomes more of an artillery war battle, which you kind of are seeing right here. Artillery war and unit cluster, maybe a ferrying war, or you know, kind of a drop and harassment battle is sort of one of the things that you see also on this map, especially in the 3v3 with you know, with 3 players covering the entire map. It's just really hard and nigh impossible to sneak by. But Tangi, you know, shooting out with his sniper, so he will, you know, just level after level will get his shots stronger and stronger, and will be much more effective against those units as time progresses in this game. As you know, the units don't scale up at all, but the you know, the mech damage does, and he will be able to 1, 2, and 3 shot certain units. I believe you know, at max capacity, a goalie is 3-shotted. I think not even from behind. I think even from the front or the side, by the max level, maximum upgraded Angel. But we do have bombing going down by mrnoone1. Though that Aegis on the field next to those, you know, next to that unit cluster for that Carbon team is definitely going to be able to hold them up for a really long time. There's no Osprey on that Carbon team, but you know, there's enough healing units down that the bombs and, you know, the bombs plus, or I guess minus, the Aegis is not really going to be that effective. However, the Aegis does go down. A lot of fire going down by that Carbon, or by that red team. So now they don't have any Aegis left, I think. Yeah, I don't see any on this front lines. But and I don't see any in the unit counts either. Yes. So there is that. Oh, we do have mechaunit with some rebels over here. Does get taken down. There was some flackers and GIVATI sitting over here. CaliCowboy and Tangibility. Oh, and Broadside all react to it. Not 100% necessary, but you know, in terms of this map, it's not that, you know, you don't really have to be that concerned about the you know, the frontline fight, at least for, you know, for a short amount of time. There's not that much you can actually do, even if you do manage to draw away 2 or 3 mechs. It's, you know, the what you can do in the amount of time that they are drawn away, or, you know, even the flight time back and forth, it's just so minor, especially because of the unit cluster you're forced to make. As you can see here by this red unit cluster and this Carbon unit cluster, you know, it's not really in any position to move out or anything like that. Kind of. I mean, you can kind of always say that they can move out at any time as long as there's mobile units, but I mean, come on, look at this map. Look at how you can approach. There's really no avenues of approach, but Bear Trap's already gone down. I think that was a while ago, actually, by the Carbon team, preventing the red creeps from wandering in. But KingsHobie now pumping out generators as the Carbon team, or the red team, is nearing their unit cap. But Broadside coming up with a Billow cluster over here, and we already have a unit send over here. Lots of tanks, no AA, I think. I don't see any Seekers, but goalies. Oh, here's one hat that was ferried over here, but Broadside already sending these Dillos over here, so a 2-pronged push. This is pretty much the distraction push. Let's see if Broadside can actually switch it to T, because, you know, there's nothing defending over here. Oh, if these were switched to T, that would be really great. The Carbon team probably would be able to overrun that forward outpost of that red team, neutralize to get a pretty good surround, force the red team away from the mid-fight, or at least even away from this top. Whoa, why did the camera take me away from there? But at least away from this top unit cluster fight. And these Dillos are now reaching the fort. It's completely undefended, so the red team will take a little bit of damage. They do have that 5% overshield thanks to that lunchbox down on the ground. And we have mechaunit and mrnoone1. mrnoone1 bombing, very effective, and mechaunit slashing at these Dillos from behind, and these Carbon units are kind of gone as well. But we do have a double Longhorn drop by. That was player 5. That was KingsHobie with that Helix, and Broadside and CaliCowboy already back here to take care of it pretty quickly. And actually a fair amount of damage just by those 2 Longhorns dropped. And these units are probably going to be eventually finished off by the red team if the if the Carbon team doesn't either start defending them or pull them back. And CaliCowboy going down to mrnoone1 in the air. Lots of fighting back and forth. It's really hard to keep track of all the shots, especially in the 3v3, especially if all 3 or even 4 or 5 mechs are in the area just firing randomly like crazy. It is a little bit hard to keep track of sometimes, and you know, you find sometimes that your health just immediately goes away, and it's just a little ridiculous. But mechaunit gonna be able to finish off that goalie unless Tangi or Cali. Oh, Cali able to save it, but will he be able to survive this? Really low on health. But we did have mrnoone1 drop 2 more Longhorn, and Broadside here already to body block them, so we will be able to finish them off. In the meantime, we do have mrnoone1 again with some Jackals. Tangi already coming here to respond. We'll be able to finish off quite a lot of these Jackals just by a sniper. Let's see if mrnoone1 can... He was able to neutralize it, but there are still so many surrounding carbon mechs and surrounding carbon units, actually, that it will not really get them that far. It will just delay a little bit of creep progress toward that forward for just a few seconds, maybe something like 15 seconds. And Jackals down there neutralizing, so both of Carbon's outposts are neutralized now. More Jackals going down, but you know, with mech response, those light units not really that effective in today's meta. Very easy to kill as well, as mechs are extremely high, you know, extremely strong now comparatively to before. Especially, you know, Angel, super strong sniper ability, will be able to finish off a lot of stuff very, very quickly. This outpost finally getting taken back by Carbon, and let's see if they can get anything bunkered in there. It's really, really important to get those infantry bunkered just so it doesn't go neutral so fast by, you know, enemy mechs. And we do have, again, the same kind of mid-fight. I mean, you can see the unit difference. The red team has a ginormous amount of units comparatively to the Carbon units, but they are still not pushing. It's just that risky to push. Oh, now they are once again. Okay, I just kind of reiterated would be the second time. So yeah, sure, iterated that just now that, you know, even though they have a really huge unit advantage, you know, look at the Carbon team's advantage, just like 2 goalies as opposed to like the 4 or 5 that the red team has. A lot of units, and their push is really, really spread out, and they're not really dropping any distraction 4 drops or anything like that. So these red units are going to just be handled very, very easily by this Neostasis and Tangi Sniper with that Angel ability, and you know, and because they're so spread out, they're just coming in 1 at a time or 2 at a time, and it might be able to finish off a lot of these Carbon units, but I really doubt that this will actually work. You know, the safe way to go here on Nesthorn is obviously kind of doing the if you have mid, kind of turtle hold it, make sure you don't lose it. You're not really going to lose too many artillery wars if you keep up with the micro. And for the most part, you can drop to victory unless they have it really, really defended on that fort. Even in that case, you know, they have less unit cap, especially because number 1, they have this middle outpost, which gives you a little bit of unit cap, and number 2, k1ng5hobie already has generators down, so they will be a little bit lightly defended in one of those outposts. So you know, the middle outpost on Nesthorn is so important. A drop there by, I think that was mechaunit. Either that or mrnoone1, I'm not really sure. But you guys saw that. I wasn't paying attention who the one that dropped that, but the goalie already responded to by 2 of the Carbon players. Oh, k1ng5hobie now repositioning, and CaliCowboy gonna be able to finish that off eventually. And once again, this red unit push, that huge unit push, was just shut down by the Carbon team, and you know, pretty much the nature of a defender's advantage in AirMech. And it's just a little bit, not necessarily depressing or anything like that. I mean, the defender's advantage is definitely something that should be in the game, should stay in the game, and is a very viable, not necessarily viable, but it's a very valuable and worthwhile mechanic to keep in the game. However, this map is probably one of the worst examples of, you know, of balance when it comes to the defender's advantage, you know, just simply existing in this game to begin with. Nesthorn just impossible to move out on. You know, just single file. I mean, for the most part, that unit push was kind of simultaneous. They sent everything all at the same time. They weren't really positioned ideally, but they would have come in a lot closer if they didn't have such a long path to traverse, and if Nesthorn's path wasn't so windy, it just kind of forced them into a single file line. And we have Broadside with a stealth Jackal. A little bit interesting there. Maybe he's just doing that to distract them, to keep them away, and runs out of energy, as Cloak is very, very energy intensive, and does force mrnoone1 back. You know, when you hear that sound, you see that dot on the minimap, you don't know what it is, and you know, you're kind of forced to respond. There's not that much else that you can actually do. So we do have still the same unit cluster here. How many Berthas does the Carbon team have up? Just 1 and 1. I think that's an Archie. You know, good to have that range. But Broadside, cloaking behind enemy lines, gonna be able to. Oh no, I thought Mr. Noone was gonna be able to save that lunchbox, but Broadside able to finish off, barely cloaking and hiding away from that red team. Can he get away here? Let's have a fall on Broadside. Yes, that super fast Neo able to get away really quick, especially because the k1ng5hobie and Mr. Noone were both Helix. And now the Berthas from that right side have been able to neutralize this outpost. This Sonya not really you know, preventing it from happening, because you know it doesn't completely stop it from doing damage. It just deflects its shot, and the outpost was still under fire from those Berthas that were out there. And we'd have one Sonya out on the Carbon team as well, or for the Carbon team as well. There are no grinders on the red team. That's kind of one of the typical unit cluster breaking methods in today's game, and several of previous patches as well. But you know, today's game, definitely grinders are really strong. They do kill quite a lot and have a lot of HP as well. They're not as expensive as rollers, so you know, rollers mainly for that tankiness to absorb damage to you know, it's very heavily used with Ospreys, especially, also Paladins, especially because they definitely have the ability to carry. Oh, and a lot of units down on the ground, lots of grinders, lots of goalies, and Carbon team is now sending, not a double send like before, but they are just sending up this top path here. So let's see how successful this will be. The red team, I don't really know if they're really 100% aware that this is happening. In the meantime, we do have Mecha Unit dropping a couple rebels, still doing a harass of his own. And kind of lost down here. Broadside coming back to respond, but let's take a look at this push by the Carbon team, going up that top lane, and one goalie has been stopped. These grinders are probably going to get themselves killed, but will absorb a lot of the damage from the units that are over here, and will kind of allow the rest of the units to approach. Mr. Noone spamming heavy mines. And we have Broadside coming back to the fight as well. Where is, I mean, it's pretty much all the Carbon team and all the red team here fighting at this mid, and they have been able to neutralize that middle outpost, and they have pretty much kind of hold positioned all of these units over here, so that's just a different position unit cluster. Sometimes a little bit hard to handle, especially in a map that kind of plays the same way every single time, but, you know, the Grizzly Wing team has been able to stop a lot of units over here, preventing them from getting hit by those heavy mines. However, those level 4 creeps will probably trigger them, which is definitely not something that they'd want. Oh, but there are pretty much no units over here, so the I think that might have been CaliCowboy setting off those heavy mines. Oh, Broadside doing the same thing as well. And so now we have a weird little fight here. These Berthas still raining down on this outpost, keeping it neutralized. And I guess CaliCowboy typing over there. Tangi sniping, able to kill quite a lot. He's already level 11. What does he have in abilities? He has level 2 of his ultimate and level 3 of the sniper ability to begin with. And I think, okay, he doesn't have that one that, you know, lets you fire a little bit faster, but it's kind of more energy dependent than fire rate dependent is what that is. The Carbon team still not pushing in those units. This line of goalies is definitely going to win that fight. Oh, and we do have okay, we have a Bertha firing in on this as well. Lots of fire going down. k1ng5hobie kind of pinned, but does level up, and will be able to survive that fight, survive that attack, survive that onslaught. But the Carbon team now dumping infantry into this middle outpost, not really going to get them anywhere. Might be able to distract those red units from firing onto theirs. And we have a goalie moving up here, Mr. Noone. Oh, we have 2 goalies moving up, and the Carbon team actually has 3 infantry up in this middle outpost. Okay, it does go down now, but and honestly, I don't know what they would have been able to do except maybe poop out some grinders or some goalies at that point really quickly. And I mean, that would have been extremely effective, but I don't think they have the credits for it. CaliCowboy does have 25,000 in his bank. Let's see how he decides to spend them. Oh, he just has, okay, he's been infantry spamming for the most part. That's kind of why he has a lot of money in his bank. Oh, and Broadside not able to survive that harassment attempt. And now the red team able to retake this middle outpost. And now the Carbon team is kind of back to square one. However, they still have this Bertha up that hasn't really been contested that much at all by the Carbon team. I would kind of think that maybe there'd be some kind of bombs or something like that, but I guess, you know, micro healing them up, you know, keeping an eye on the smoking nature of, I don't know how to put that, but, you know, keeping an eye on the smoke that pops out of those mechs, or of those units when they are lower on health. So definitely, I know these players are definitely able to keep up with that micro, especially Tangibility, probably one of the best micro players in the game. And now we do have the same kind of mid-fight here. Bertha's, 2 Berthas. Let's see. Where's the... I thought I saw a 3rd Bertha. No, there is no 3rd Bertha, but we do have Broadside with a couple of Dillos here. Oh, throwing down that ultimate so they won't be able to see it. So the Carbon team... Oh, yeah. Did you see that, guys, on the minimap just briefly just now? Wow, that's kind of the first time I've really experienced it, but your minimap turns black for the duration that that Neo ultimate goes off. And that's a little bit crazy. Oh, and that's not even the ultimate. That's just one of its normal abilities. Once you activate stasis ability, or no, oh yeah, it's just one of the its air special ability that's not cloak. So it's the middle click or control ability, however you want to put that. So that does help you do drops. It did allow Broadside to do a little bit of extra damage with those Dillos. Oh, and Broadside Cali, off screen a little bit. Oh, it was right here. That did happen. Oh, and Tangi getting killed by k1ng5hobie. I guess a little bit overextending himself with that sniper. And CaliCowboy with a couple of creeps gonna, level 4 creeps. So let's see how effective this is. It will probably take out a lot of these infantry, but I would expect one of the Carbon team players, okay, 2 of them now, to respond. He will be able to get it neutralized, and Broadside dropping more creeps. Oh man, let's see if the Carbon team can, the Carbon team taking this under the control. What can they drop? What can they take out of this outpost? And it's actually not going down that fast. Okay, now it finally does. Okay, like 2 seconds, not even 2 seconds, like 1 second or half a second after I said that it goes down. So shows how much that I know or how much that I can predict. But we'd have Broadside harassing again, able to kill this Buster. Gets just hammered by those. Let's see if he can survive this. Wow, getting pinned down, and just does throw his ultimate, so preventing that minimap, but it doesn't matter. And let's see how long he can survive, taking cover of his units, and does survive. Oh, but Mech Unit is still here, and mrnoone1 as well. Oh, might be able to get him finished up. Oh, and Broadside not able to back to that outpost before he gets killed. Man, that was so close. He survived for way longer than I thought he would. I thought he was going to get killed, especially with 2 Helix on the other team. I thought he was going to get killed pretty much immediately, but there was, definitely some problems using them. It does take a fraction of a second, or about a second, give or take, for the rockets to start coming out of those of that Helix, especially in the air. Actually, it's the same. Air and ground fire delay, initiation delay, I think, is the same for Helix. Pretty sure. If it's not, it's pretty much the same. It's like almost the same. Close enough to that you can pretty much call it the same. Anyway, enough with all of that irrelevant information. We do have Tangi and Broadside. I mean, it's the same fight over and over again. 21 minutes in already. And we do have the Carbon team. Oh, we do have a stealth Bertha here. That one is in the trees. It will be a little bit difficult for that Carbon, or for that red team to see. And, on Nesthorn, you're kind of just scouting a lot, seeing where you can drop, where you can poke and prod, if you can do anything that will weaken the, weaken the defenses of the enemy, so you can kind of chip away at their unit, I don't know, their unit army? I don't know, but we do have a Longhorn drop here, gets killed almost immediately by Tangi Sniper, and Broadside kind of body blocking here, but that lunchbox is up, I think. Where's the lunchbox? No lunchbox up. So, and some T-45s down to defend. I do really like turrets here at these corners and stuff, just because it prevents enemy mechs from dropping right at the corner, because they do have massive damage and they are not movable by anything but other turrets. Tangi doing a quick scout. The top isn't really that defended. Oh, and what is this unit cluster that they have here? It's okay. I think if they still had Bertha there, yes, it is still firing in. It will eventually neutralize it if not noticed by that Carbon team. And look at all these tanks over here. Definitely, they do not want a gap jump over here from the Carbon team. Definitely pretty dangerous. It's not really something that. Oh, and actually, they're faring as well. So, and actually everything has been killed on the right side for this Carbon team just by this one Bertha for the most part. I don't think I see anything else out there. There was one Archie there, but it was not pointing toward that middle outpost. And everything on the right side of this middle outpost has pretty much been finished off by that Bertha. Broadside able to drop these creeps, neutralize that top outpost. The Bertha pretty much helped that as well. They're not able to get it right now, but there is a substantial tank cluster down here by the Carbon team. And finally, Mecha Unit noticing this Bertha down, and let's see, Broadside chooses to save it. No, he does not. Dropping the creeps, not really going to get him too far, but will force the... they do grab it under the control. CaliCowboy dropping more creeps. What will he be able to drop out? Dropping some hats out of there, so that's also pretty useful. Oh, Broadside dropping grinders. That will take quite a long time. Oh, and another grinder. Wow, that was like 4 grinders out there, and now this tank cluster is being sent out. So is this on attack or is this on capture? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? It will wreak quite a lot of havoc either way, and mechaunit trying to deal with these hats and these grinders dropped down by the Carbon team. And the Broadside dropping level 4 creeps. So this unit cluster was kind of shut down, or this unit push was kind of shut down by all the heavy mines that mrnoone1 has been spamming. Heavy mines, I think, still do not cost any upkeep. But now we do have a lot of units out here for the Carbon team. They have been able to take this close away from the Red team. The Red team not really defending it that well. I mean, lots of generators on the field. But now Grizzly Wing does have one outpost on the Carbon side, on the GIVATI, or not the Carbon side, the Red side, the GIVATI side. And let's see how far they can actually take this. It typically isn't that hard to neutralize an outpost that's that close to your fort, but it does look like that the Carbon team, or the Red team, GIVATI, has been unit capped. They are over the unit cap, actually, and now this left outpost, this power station, goes down, which puts them even further under their unit cap. So it's going to be really, really hard for them to pump out units to actually try to take this back. We do have a little bit of tanks dropped here. Creeps, obviously. And Tangi keeping this outpost neutral. Let's see if he can actually grab it under his control. Where is he going with it? Gonna just bring some jackals. Okay, now grabbing some creeps. Where is he going? Okay, now probably gonna reinforce this top outpost as it has been neutralized once again. Still, we have a few grinders and a few hats down. The Red team's desperately trying to neutralize this outpost, but it's just really, it's gonna be really hard for them to do. Oh, now Broadside ferrying an artillery over, and that is a set it and forget it for sure. And now Tangi bringing out some light units. That's one of the things also definitely really valuable to have. King Shobi will go down, does get killed by a jackal. And the jackal's so cost effective still, even today. Even today, it's as if like a few, like several decades have passed or something like that. But even today, in this month of February, that AirMech has evolved to, the jackal's still very, very cost effective. However, not very damage effective. You know, light unit doesn't really have that good of a place right now. However, it's still good to to absorb a lot of damage, to do damage to mechs on the ground. I mean, it did finish off King Shobi over there, and mechaunit kind of overextending himself, probably going to get finished off here. CaliCowboy going to be able to get this. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, who's going to be? Oh, is mechaunit going to get away? Wow, mrnoone1 finishing Cali on the ground with those rockets, and CaliCowboy not able to get that finish on mechaunit. Mechaunit was almost dead here, but not able to do that. And the GIVATI team gets the one up that round. But the Carbon team, the Grizzly Wing team, still has this top outpost pretty much surrounded and under their control. Although they don't have it claimed, it's still really under their control. So many Carbon units over here, and once again, well, not once again, actually. I was going to comment on how GIVATI doesn't really have any unit cap to spare. However, they have lost quite a lot of units. They have this middle outpost neutralized. I guess it's kind of due to this artillery, and this is kind of clearing everything. Oh, and we have a Bertha over here as well, and Tangi firing in. So Broadside and CaliCowboy distracting that Red team for such a long time, and they are able to just clear all those middle outposts. Grizzly Wing is dramatically outnumbering them in the upkeep. mechaunit does now check out this middle outpost, and it's like, uh-oh, they don't have it under their control. How are they going to push, or how are they going to approach? They might just want to go for a push with this, because it's eventually just going to go down. So they've got to really make a decision. Where do they want to commit their attention? Where do they want to commit their units? And they have kind of decided to go for this top close and try to neutralize it and take it back. But in the meantime, they will allow this Grizzly Wing team to take over this this middle outpost and kind of clear everything that's there. The way that the Red team pulled back, and kind of the way that all their units on the right side of that outpost were killed, kind of put them in a really, really bad position there. And now they're desperately trying to retake this close outpost, which is kind of not working over and over and over. They're dropping one unit at a time. Broadside going to be able to kill a lot of these tanks that are dropped, and still quite a lot of grinders over here. And, you know, it's just going to be a matter of time before all the units that Carbon has at that mid are just whittled away by this one artillery here and this Bertha sitting over here. So it does look like that Carbon team has been able to get this surround one. Okay, they have been able to get this outpost back under their control, but there are now a lot of units here for that red team because they kind of have decided to go for that outpost. And Tangibility, oh man, really low on health against a Helix and another Helix. He couldn't glide over here. This blocked him. He could not glide past here. He was trying to get to his side, and it blocked him right there. Oh, that's a little bit unfortunate, guys. If you play Angel, that's something you should probably take a note of on Nesthorn. Do not try to glide over that gap because you will face plant into the side of the wall and not be able to survive that. But the Carbon team now able to finally finish off these units here at mid. It now a grinder going down for Broadside, so nothing really substantial going to be able to survive a just single drop if GIVATI decides to drop there at that left side. mechaunit and k1ng5hobie going to be able to neutralize this, but you know, it's just dramatically different. It's 8-51 in terms of the upkeep right now. The Carbon team still having a good surround on this close outpost, and a lot of heavy mines in mrnoone1's build queue. Now coming out with Longhorn, gonna grab some creeps. I don't know. I mean, even if they can't take this outpost under the control, it's gonna go right back down. There's so many things that can neutralize that outpost very, very quickly. And k1ng5hobie not gonna be able to survive this. I really highly doubt it. Yeah, 2 mechs in the area, gonna be able to get that high-low. And let's just watch that. Okay, does get finished off by Tangibility in the air, and the Carbon team still has a great surround on this close outpost. Wow, wow, wow. There's a lot of back and forth going down right now, and the red team is just having such a hard time trying to take this close outpost back. I mean, all these heavy units and turrets are so hard to kill, and in that time, the red team or the Carbon team has been able to get a great surround on this middle outpost. There's not going to be that much that the red team can do about it. mechaunit dropping some rebels, but they go down very quickly. And the Carbon team still has this surround on this top outpost. Broadside actually real low on health, but does have enough energy to cloak away. Oh, decides to lift off. Oh, and does survive that attack, gets back to that middle outpost before he gets finished off. The Carbon team might lose the rest of their units over here if they don't spend more time and attention, in this area. CaliCowboy dropping some creeps, but it does not. He's not able to take this outpost under his control. He did have 4 hats under his. Oh man, he had 4 hats in his build queue, so he would have been able to take those out very, very quickly. And, the hat, so much trouble to deal with, just in any circumstance. As long as you're not pushing an entire army into hats, then they're just so hard to deal with because they'll pretty much finish off your mech, trying to do anything in that entire time. k1ng5hobie finishing off Broadside, Tenji trying to body block for him, but with 2 mechs in the area, it wasn't really that optimistic to happen, really. And CaliCowboy probably going to go down here as well. Yes, he does, but it does not stop the fact that the Carbon team is way ahead now, 12-53. Once again, this is not the next patch. I'm guessing what would be the current patch by the time this video pops out. But yeah, they are going to change the upkeep values. Everything right now in 2, 3, 4, 7, 6 is just 1 upkeep. But they have changed that in the Canary that is out of now, and what will be in future builds, which is they have different values depending on the type of unit and pretty much how strong the unit is. I don't exactly know the numbers. I'm pretty sure it's something like goalies 3 or 4, devastators like 4 or 5. I'm not exactly sure, but they will try to be balancing it that way. Oh, and Tenji just gliding over that gap. And k1ng5hobie trying to finish him off, but runs out of energy and barely gets back to that outpost. We'd have mechaunit trying to harass again with some rebels, but CaliCowboy, oh man, oh my god, he's able to get that. Tanji was able to get that kill before this smoking black jackal gets finished off. That's kind of what I had my eye on, because kind of if I was mechaunit in that situation, know you're gonna die, just try to kill anything you possibly can, and that jackal was probably the closest thing to death at that point. Oh, but we do have a tank ferry over this middle gap. Oh, and they're already sending them on attack. They're not really just trying to make a cluster. They're already sending them on attack. And there's 1 Longhorn here on the front and 1 Longhorn on the side. k1ng5hobie comes back to drop a Longhorn for defense, but we do have micro surround by this Grizzly Wing team, and it does look like this will be the end of the game for GIVATI right now. Gemini, goalies, lots of AA, plenty of units to get this finished, not enough blocking, not enough DPS for the red team to actually, shut this push down, and that's probably going to be it. Life going down really, really quickly. GG's getting dropped down right now, and there you go. The Carbon team, the Grizzly Wing team, Broadside, CaliCowboy, and Tangibility. grabbing this custom 3v3 win over the red team, the GIVATI faction team, mrnoone1, mechaunit21, and k1ng5hobie. Probably one of the best 3v3 Nesthorns I've ever seen, to be honest, because a lot of stuff did happen. They were able to retake mid from a mid turtle. I mean, the red team pushed out. That was probably not the right choice. I really commend them from doing that to begin with, because, I mean, the safe way to go is turtle, drop, poke, prod, try to kill what you can. You'll get the economic advantage. Eventually your artillery will probably win if you put up enough, and there you go. Drop enough stuff, keep the pressure on, and you'll be fine as long as you turtle up. They didn't do that. They moved out, and they kind of paid the price. They lost a lot of units. That wasn't really the decisive thing. I guess the decisive thing was probably the Carbon team taking that close outpost on that top side for the red side, and you know, Broadside taking out 4 grinders, CaliCowboy taking out 2 or 3 hats or something like that. It takes so long to kill those, even though they got the outpost neutralized. It was just well surrounded by those Carbon units, and even more and more came down. It was already at level 4 creep stage, so you know, there was not that much they could do. You know, they focused too much on it, and after losing that middle outpost and losing that factory to begin with, they lost a lot of their unit cap, not able to pump out the units that they needed, and there you go. That's the end of the story. After losing that, they lost the advantage at the mid. Everything got killed. They didn't maintain their middle outpost, and the Carbon team able to take advantage of that, send their units over that gap, which was pretty crazy. Very, very quick decision, but to be honest, 1 scout was probably enough for them to actually realize that they working as a team, getting all those units across that gap super fast, and getting the finish on this GIVATI team. But really great game. Kind of horribly stale at the beginning. It was pretty much the normal mid-fight thing, but I really did like that double prong push by the Carbon team. So guys, if you have any games to send in to me, you know what to do. Please read my forum post about how to send replays. No one actually does. They just kind of think that if they drop it in the comments that they'll get an answer, which they won't anymore. Okay, I'm just gonna refer to my post. So guys, this is RUI, and that's game. See you next time.